Hi, I'm Ben. Now, this tape is about one of my homemade machine tools. I've had a few emails requesting for to go into more detail about my homemade milling machine. So I'll try and give as much information as possible. I'll strip bits of it down to show it, and let's get started. I'm enjoying a cup of coffee. Now, this is the machine in question. I will go into the finer details. For some reason, to start with, I got the idea of a little milling machine from this large hand drill. For what reason, I don't know. I was lucky enough to come across a large lathe, a very large lathe. It was a Wilson made in Glasgow. The date on it was 1905. There was a large raise here with a really large four-way tool post. I had to cut it off and work from there. A mate was lucky enough to have a large Cincinnati mill, which I got this piece of steel and made. He let me use it one weekend, all day Saturday, all day Sunday and Monday evening to make my table. The table is 12 inches by 6 inches. Two-inch. The only thing I had to make for it was the nut for this screw. I have a 9-inch cross feed, seven inches longitudinal feed. When I'm working on something that needs extra movement, either cross feed or long feed, I can use this little homemade table. I have a square table for it also, which gives me an extra 5 inches. I made that, parts of it on this little milling machine and parts on my 3-in-1. I have the belt off it, for I want to take a few parts off for to go into detail. But first, my motor used to be on a large hinge that I made, 2 plates, but there was a little bit of vibration. So I have it now mounted on 2 plates on 4 bolts. Now my base is 18 inches by 19 inches, half-inch plate. That is the base it's sitting on. Now this column, this is 6 inches by 5 inches. I turned it down for to suit the bolts, for the bolt onto the plate. It's a recess of 3 inches for the shaft is pressed down in, 2 bolts up for to keep it lovely and tight. Now it's pressed home, which I had to get dead level and upways, which allowed me to mill it or to weld it. Now my shaft is 2 inches. £2 long. Now I milled this slot on my 3-in-1 mill using my little table that I made also to give me the extra length. This is 5 inches. Five inches off the same shaft. It has graduations, but 1 full turn is 200 thou. The screw is 7/8. Whitworth thread. Now this hand wheel is off the large lathe that the cross slide is off. Now it screws very freely, up and down. 4-step pulley, give me 4 speeds. This is the switch. I'll not start it until I get the belt on it to show it. Now I will screw the head off to go into more detail. I loosened the nuts, they were very tight, I had them a bit loose, but I have to screw a piece at a time or it won't let me come past. I have to bring this out with the screws.
Hello, Benny.
The way I have it done, we don't worry about it falling. I have a little carrier. Now this is pressed home, which this cannot move, and it carries the head to let me screw it together. These two bolts is to bolt this piece onto this. This is that bolt onto this. For this one I have two nuts, or two bolts on this one, and good secure Loctite on each of them so as they will not move. Now the bearing I have in here is this type, for to take the cutting action on the mill. And the top bearing is this. I have the top bearing. Now I have this here. This holds my bearing in, and a grease nipple for to keep it greased. I have two large Allen screws on the pulley, and they go right down into the shaft, so there's no movement. Now this is the draw bolt for drawing the collets or whatever tool I'm using, and this nut is pressed home, really pressed, and there is three pins which no movement. And this draws the collet up. It also helps to keep it tight. Now this column is 4 inches and 5 inches in length. This is also, these 3 pieces are 4 inches. I used to have a heavy box action. I had heavy box action here, but over a period of time I started to get a little vibration, so I came up with these 3 pieces. Well screwed, well Loctited, no vibration. Now I will put the head back on. This allows me some movement which is easy to hold up. Like so. Now this is not at all. I have to make sure that it is true and cutting a nice true cut. Now this is how I true it up before I tighten it down. Not yet. That's it. Now look at that. %100. %100. Nice one. It's bored out to Morse 3. And the length of the column 10 inches. This is the bearing arrangement that I have. I hope this has been of some help. This is Ben. Thank you for watching. Go to my website, Benny Marner.